Hello, everyone, and welcome into the EGF Week 11. We've got two teams here that are both looking for victories. Ocean is here to meet with me today, and we are going to be cast over these guys. Ocean, tell me a little bit about these teams.
Well, this is an interesting matchup. Cincinnati are they're kind of switching around their roster a bit, and what I liked when I watched Cincinnati was that they're playing some compositions. There's good rhyme or reason to play those compositions. They are strong compositions. Unfortunately, they have a 3-7 record. I know they had a more difficult schedule as well, but I would expect Cincinnati, with the potential they have, to have a higher record than 3-7 or a better record than that. They're going up against William and Mary, who are a very fun team to watch. I remember I watched them and cast them back in week 1, and I was really happy with how they played. I think they played a 6-map series on that day, and they played a lot of the Brick Zen backline, which made me really happy. I don't believe they've done that too much since, but they're sitting with an 8-2 record. You probably expect William and Mary to be the favourites going into this one.
Yeah, being the favorites is probably what I would expect out of William and Mary as well. As you can see, we do have Busan coming up first, followed by Numbani, Hanamura, Rialto, then Nepal if needed. I tell you what, William and Mary is on an 8-game win streak right now. They've been playing solid the last 8 weeks. And then, on the other side, Cincinnati, 3-0 skid. They're trying to find their feet again. It's one of those times where we're almost halfway through the season. We got another week before we're basically at the halfway point. And if you're Cincinnati, you got to start turning this one around.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get wins and they need to get wins now. I don't think they can actually. I think I could just about finish with a potential positive record. And
Hmm.
for a team that Cincinnati has potential, right? That's a little bit disappointing for them going into this season. But what we're looking for today from them, especially against William Mary, who I fully expect to win this, honestly, is improvements. And
Hmm.
then also we can then start to look at next season for them. What is the potential of the Cincinnati team? William Mary, I'm looking for a nice confident win from them today. No major mistakes, no map losses, no tricky points, no nothing, no messing around. Just get the dub.
Yeah, last week they had a clean 3-0. They looked really, really solid. Didn't look like they were hitting any hiccups. I mean, the series was nice overall, but mostly it was all William and Mary. But looking at Cincinnati last week too, I mean, they got a game, right? They brought it to 1-1, and then eventually let the last two maps slide. But that's that improvement you're talking about. That's what we want to see out of Cincinnati. Make it close, right? The first game was a little bit of a stomp, but then second, third, fourth, they were competing, and that's what we're looking for. And now with William and Mary, they got a chance to really knock on the door of one of the big boys up there, and knock them down a peg, and let the whole EGF know that, hey, we're here and we're ready, and when the playoffs come, we're gonna take it.
Yeah, and you know what? For Cincinnati, they can just make this game awkward for William and Mary. I think that's an achievement for them, right? Just make it awkward. And I think for
Yeah.
William and Mary, for them, the idea today is to go win comfortably, not drop any maps, not have any silly points given away, nothing like that. Just a nice, comfortable win. That's kind of what they're looking for today.
Yeah, and I'm kind of looking at Busan, and I don't mind Sanctuary as much. I think this is a good test the waters barometer for Cincinnati. What they come out on, how they play these first few team fights. What they're going to need to do in order to kind of, now I wouldn't say steal maps away, but like you said, make it awkward. Put the pressure on them. So that's what we're going to be looking for from Cincinnati, and then on the other side, William and Mary. I think I like this comp. Right, you come out. I'm sure Unique's gonna, probably just swap off the Symmetra. Maybe they keep
Away
it. Who
Tracer.
knows? Yeah, teleport out, and it looks like
Oh,
maybe it's gonna
Widow.
be the
That
full.
that's
Oh, there we
unique.
go. I like it. I like the Widow on the side. And for the first engagement here, I think it's going to be a lot of poking and prodding from William and Mary, right? You got the dive coming in from Cincinnati. They're looking to kind of go full bore here with the Reaper. As they start poking around, we see Max kind of on the side here, just looking for a way in. Going to be starting it off early. Dive comes through, and Rival picks up the first kill there, as it does look like William and Mary is just going to counter dive the dive here and take this first fight pretty clean.
Yeah, that's not how you play that rush composition that Cincinnati are playing. They kind of just ran onto the entirety of William and Mary. You're meant to try and isolate a player. Like your Lucio can get a boop, your Stomper can get a hack, your Diva can force a DPS out of the team fight, then you can isolate them and get the kill on them. William and Mary, they were just a nice stable block, and they didn't even have to have their Wrecking Ball engage before Cincinnati crumbled right before them.
Yeah, and I do like that they're taking these fights on the outside here, right? William and Mary doing a good job of like giving space for this Widow to maybe find some shots, playing those cross angles. and getting just the pressure on. But maybe that's what Cincinnati needs to be looking for as they go ahead and pressure the point and flip it over. So that's a nice move by Cincinnati, getting over to the point and, you know, making sure they get it while this mid-fight happens. And we're going to see the Coalescence come out and doesn't quite pick up a kill because Unique finds the headshot, and that's not an easy shot to hit. And Max cleaned it up Ozzy. So now William and Mary is going to pressure the point right back, and it's just going to be Lonely Lake sitting out there trying to keep it down for his team. Bubble going to come out, and the Reaper down. Oof, and that's going to be the quick flip right back, but a really good job flipping the point there.
Yeah, I really like how William Mary's backline's playing. Luke Nalma. Sorry, why was that so hard to say? Alondre and Rival are playing really well together. They've got a really good concrete backline. William Mary, no mistakes, no one out of position. They're all bodyguarding each other. They're giving their Zen value. The Discord orbs have been really strong. I would like to see them play a little bit more aggressive with that backline, right? So you can get a little bit more offensive value. I think that's why they conceded the point for a little bit in the last team point.
And I'm not going to lie, that's pretty tough for Nuke Llama there. Just getting wrecked with the sights, you know, as soon as those come out, the Sombra is just out in the open. I don't think she expected that to happen. But Alondre, she's doing quite well, staying in the back, keeping those Discords on the right targets, and, you know, keeping William and Mary kind of up while Nuke Llama does a really good job of, spying for her.
I would like to Tracer over the Widowmaker here, just to have someone in the front line with Max on the Wrecking Ball as well. I think that would give them the offensive pressure and space they need to have their backline further forward so that we can see even more impactful Discord over to William and Mary. But Unique's still getting value on the Widowmaker, so no need to complain.
Yeah, Unique's doing a great job on the Widow, finding those angles. As we see the rotation into Cincinnati's spawn, going to be finding that first pick on the Baby Diva. That always feels kind of bad, kind of get that DMEC going. Nuke Llama pressuring out Lake. That's pretty tough. Brigitte is quite a monster, picking up a triple kill right here. But we're going to have a Death Blossom come out, trying to, turn this back. And they do have point control, so Reaper fight in 3 is pretty massive and will be a nice for the stall here. Unique is trying to find these headshots, but they are playing around this middle drum quite well. And a stabilizing fight for Cincinnati.
That was good. That was better, right? They played around their wig condition. Cincinnati, it was their Death Blossom, and the Reaper was able to get a lot of value. Aussie as well at the end. Some good isolating hacks, more of that, please. And they're 60% to their next EMP as well. So more isolation from Aussie, especially early in the team fight, and they can make this fight a little bit longer, Cincinnati, and then potentially have another EMP. Nice hack.
Yeah, Rival gets hacked right out of the ultimate, so the damage does not come through on Cincinnati. Lightning dropping dangerously low, though, and so is Ozzy, but it doesn't matter as the teammates are there to protect, and that's going to be a nice little cleanup fight for Cincinnati, and we are getting right towards that one-fight territory.
Wow, Cincinnati have that much percentage? I barely noticed. And they've got ultimates for this next team fight prepaid. They can have an early Coalescence, an early EMP. How are William Mary going to get into this one? It's going to be on Alondre, how that round with that Transcendence.
Yeah, and how Cincinnati plays this right here, you love them being proactive, and we want to see that early EMP come out. It does look like the engage is going to happen here in the side room. Winston jumping in the back line. Going to be finding the first kill as Rival going down is going to be massive for the front line. It's going to be Alondre trying to stabilize the fight, and Lightning picks up a kill. I'm sorry, Lightning goes down with Maxwell finding the kill, and Unique jumping onto Lake with those headshots. It's tough, especially with that Discord orb. We still haven't seen the EMP come out. Ozzy gonna have to back out, find a little bit of health, and it just is all William and Mary in the kill feed as Cincinnati is gonna go down, but that's not it. They will have time to touch one more time.
Cincinnati win that team fight if they use an early EMP or use the EMP at all. It was 5v5 with Rival going down early. The Transcendence, as soon as that ends, EMP, you win the team fight, and they just didn't do it. And now Aussie doesn't even get a chance to use it.
Oh, that's a huge loss there for Cincinnati, not being able to find the EMP engage that they want, and now it's just scrambling and just trying to touch the point, and no one's going to get there. Cincinnati, taken out just at the last minute, but William and Mary find a way.
William and Mary, they get the round across the board, right? But I have to know, that is that's bad for Aussie. I think they have that EMP. They could have used it before the Transcendence came out, just after the Transcendence came out. There's so many options to just go and win the team fight, and it would have been William Mary's team fight, factually, right? It's a big EMP.
Yeah.
Everyone's clustered together. It's the best ultimate in the game. And Cincinnati, I mean, they had a chance to take a point off of William and Mary on control and make this map extremely awkward. They didn't take that chance.
I think that bodes well, though, for the rest of this series, right? The rate at which they built those ultimates, as you said, you didn't even notice the percentage, and I actually just noticed it right before I said it. is because I had seen them swap it twice. I didn't realize that those fights took so long, and you had William and Mary at 88% for 2 straight fights. So it was one of those things where Cincinnati, yes, you got picked by the Widow. It does happen. Unfortunately, it was on your game-changing ultimate. But I mean, if you're gonna ask Unique reliably to do that every single time, which he did for this time, so granted he might, it's that's a tough ask for just Unique to find that Sombra pick. So I don't think you can rely on that. And to your point about the Tracer, I think Tracer probably would have been really good there, putting the pressure on as well.
Yeah, I think Tracer is just a better pick, right? Because Max wasn't able to go as aggressive as they probably would have wanted to. It also meant that, the backline had to stay really far back, and that's probably why the switches happen so often on the point, and Cincinnati got a lot of percentage early on that they probably shouldn't have got. Yo, looking at this. It is Brawl versus Brawl,
Yeah.
but instead of the May, Rich and I, similar idea, is going for the Torbjorn.
You know, what's kind of funny is I really like Torbjorn Turret. It's another player that can't miss. So I really love the Torbjorn fights here. But Immortality going to be used first on this first engage. This is what Brawl is, right? You just run at each other, and you kind of hope that your cooldowns are better than their cooldowns. And right now, William and Mary, with that Torb Turret, fight a Baby Diva, is going to take that first fight. And I mean, that sets the tone for the game, right? You're going to have a ton of ult charge for William and Mary, and they're way ahead right now.
Yeah, and in that Brawl versus Brawl matchup, also, like, you're kind of wanting to have a player on an off angle. You can have your Turbo on one angle and your Turret on another, right? So that's just an idea of why Torbjorn can be used in Brawl, but you don't usually see it too often because it doesn't have that much sprawl power. Oh my word, what a slam.
Oh, Shatter's gonna find 4 there as they try to walk up those stairs. A lot of them escape though, but it is just gonna be the cleanup fights here now. So Maxwell just gonna hold shield for some safety, and that's what the first fight gives you, right? It gives you that early ult charge, and Max found the Shatter because they won the first fight. And look at Lake still at 60.
You know what? I also have to ask, what Cincinnati, they could have scouted Max on the corner there. It looked like a pretty obvious slam as well, right? An obvious place to look for an Arf Shatter. I feel like they could have scouted that out a little bit more.
Yeah, and now they're going to have to push through windows, so it's ult on top of ult. I like the wall. It's going to give them a little bit of cover going through. Immo is already down for Cincinnati, and the pressure is just being put on as Unique is the first one to find the kill, and William and Mary is just, using their ult advantage to find these kills on the rotations, and this is what we always talk about, using your ults proactively to get in there early, get these kills, get these picks, and now this poor Baby Diva, let her off the map. Poor thing.
Should have done it for longer. Should have booped them back. Had some sleep darts. I would have liked to watch that. But one thing I want to know is Unique is having and Rival. Those two players are having a big impact on their counterparts at Shrimpman and Crowhey. And the reason being is because they're taking off angles. They're making the fight wider. They're making things so difficult for Lake, and it means that they have more options than Cincinnati than the standard Brawl composition would.
Yeah, got to point out Ozzy there, the wall blocking the Shatter off the flashbang play. What a really nice setup from Unique and Max, but it was totally blocked off by Ozzy. But now we've got Blizzard and Beat online for Cincinnati with a bomb to follow. High Noon's going to come out early. Immo's going to save lives there. Beat's going to come down. Now we've got ourselves the Brawl on the point, and ults are just being thrown every which way. 1 bomb goes out, 2 bombs go out, and 1 bomb finds 2, and that's Shrimpman finding Ratchet on the side. But it is now 99, and they need to clean this fight up. And they do. William and Mary finds the BAP amp, and it is done and dusted. William and Mary take the first game, but I tell you what, Cincinnati, not the second map, but the first map, they looked really good.
I like the rush composition they played on map 1, or say point 1 of Busan. It was good. It's a good competition. They seemed a little bit more comfortable on it. I thought they looked pretty bad on the Brawl though. Like they just didn't know what they were doing on it really. They didn't know how to get different amounts of value on Diva. They didn't know how to get higher value on Lucio, on heroes like Cassidy as well. So I'm not a big fan of how they played that. On Mecha base, I don't even think they should have went for the Brawl. Maybe the rush composition that they were running previously, that's still fine. You have a Reaper, which is going to be a good win condition. I mean, could have been zoned up by the Torbjorn, probably would have, but at least play something you're good at, because I didn't really see anything out of Cincinnati's Brawl. William and Mary, they were aggressive, they made good decisions, their ultimates were proactive. Pretty solid.
Yeah, and you got to point out Kuro with play of the game. I mean, that saved that fight, that turned it around. They were already down 3. He comes through with 3. So it's one of those times where when the DPS step up, you got to feel good watching that as a Cincinnati fan. But yeah, now we're looking forward now. I mean, William and Mary, find that first game, right? That's always the scariest one, I think. You're trying to feel out your opponent. And Cincinnati, as you said, could have made him feel awkward, could have made it feel a little bit like, oh crap, we might have a series on our hands. But no, William and Mary eventually found their way to the win there. But now we're looking forward to Numbani. And Numbani might play to that Winston style that we saw Cincinnati running.
Yeah, I mean, you could run that. I mean, you could play the hero Winston, just maybe not that composition. Maybe you could change the Reaper for a Tracer.
Right.
And that's a different style of rush composition where you have more dive elements, you have more access to different high grounds, you're a little bit faster as well. Just gives you a couple of different options. I would prefer a different type of dive style where you poke a little bit, you build up your nano boost, get your Winston in onto the back line, just your standard old school dive composition. I prefer that on Numbani. Or you could do what William Mary's doing with the Brigitte Zenyatta backline and play some Wrecking Ball. It's another style of dive that's pretty good on Numbani.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about Numbani? It is one of my favorite hybrid maps. I absolutely love this map because the first point is so diverse. And I know a lot of people don't feel that way because you have main, upper, lower, and you go around to the outside edge of the map. But that gives you a lot of off angles that maybe a Tracer could take. If they wanted to get super risky and go Genji, which we will never see, but I would love to see that once. But then you also have stuff like Hog can constantly be finding flanks. You've got the Sombras who always have options in and out. Just one of those things where I think, and maybe you can, educate me a little bit. I love it when teams pull out Sombra here.
I like Sombra on this map too. I think the standard rush compositions are good fun here, or even dive comes with Sombra as well. I don't like to see like traditional brawl compositions here, like more like no Reinhardt, none of that. Like brawl compositions with Sombra and Winston, that's fine. But none of that Reinhardt stuff on this map. We're not going to see Reinhardt on this map. We're going to see standard poke composition on the defense from Cincinnati. I'm a little bit worried about Lake getting isolated, or even Aussie on that far left hand side, and I also don't like that Torb turret placement. I feel like we could have the Torb turret on the other side of the map, providing a different angle. And William Mary make some adjustments. They're going to play into this poke composition with, I guess, some poke of their own, but they're going to look up to set up that poke with Max on the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, and I like the consistent poke, right? You got the Soldier and the Pharah that's constantly going to be bringing down damage, and you got some of that burst with the D.Va, and as I say that, a couple
really
directs kind of opens up, the entire point for him, and Unique just on the back with 0 contesting, and Hanzo's going to be knocked down with Rival jumping right in. It's actually Ratchet that finds it. Ratchet Knight finding the kill there, and William and Mary kind of textbook, wrap around from the Pharah to get that timing and that off angle to open it up for the team.
The timing was awesome on that off angle, right? With the Soldier, I think was coming from main or around that sort of area, that right hand side. The Wrecking Ball was rolling through as the Pharah decided to come in. And that's what enabled the Unique on the Pharah to have so much space, and I like the fact they're swapping. You don't play Pharah into that standard Sombra Reaper rush comp, and they're going to match the Reaper. Cool. They're going to match a sort of Brawl versus Brawl style. They're going to want to get closer to Cincinnati than Cincinnati want to get close to them, because Reinhardt operates at a closer range than Winston. Just straight up that.
Yeah, and if Lake jumps in kind of like this, it's kind of all in for Cincinnati at this point, and they do end up taking down the Torb turret, but that's not players, and players are starting to fall as Ozzy is the first one to go down, followed by Lake, and this looks like William and Mary being very comfortable on this version of Brawl, and their Reaper and Torb are finding tons of value.
You know what's really interesting to me is Cincinnati chose to take that fight on that, not
Back
only
corner.
even on the corner. Like, why there? They could have waited on the corner and had better options with their Winston. They could have waited on the corner and potentially set up a nice hack. I wasn't a big fan of how Cincinnati engaged at that current moment.
Yeah, I think to your point here, I don't think Cincinnati's using the map to its fullest of advantages, right? Just jumping into a narrow street like that, when you could be coming from high ground, off the back of the bus, using it for cover, being able to get away. But now we see Cincinnati coming in through with another engage, and it's a little bit more open at this point, and that really bodes well for the Torbjorn as Lightning's going to go down. But Kuro going to find the backup kill here, but Max is not having any of it, following through with the double shatter there, and the bomb going to be cleaning up the rest as William and Mary are just cleaning up these kills to wrap up point 2.
Yep, good play for Mary. Cincinnati really need to understand when you're playing Winston versus Reinhardt. There's a range where Winston can get cleave damage and get optimal value out of Winston and still get close to the Reinhardt without getting like swung at, without the Reinhardt be able to get maximum damage. Winston is a pretty good matchup against Reinhardt, but not in extremely close spaces, and that's exactly where Cincinnati are taking these engagements. It's really strange.
Yeah, and Lake has agreed with you here to a point and has swapped over to the Reinhardt. So now we're going to have a bit of a mirror aside from the Torbjorn and the Moira. But Cincinnati feeling pretty good about their spot right here. Diva Bomb is online for Shrimpman. Going to be looking to be having a big impact here. Trying to peel for the backline. Going to be forcing out Unique. And now here comes Torbjorn alt. Molten Core on the field. Going to be trying to separate the teams. Putting down decent damage as Shrimpman's got to run away. Reaper in hot pursuit. Unique with that ultimate online. It is going to come down, I think, to the barrier. How they, pursue that as Kuro's going to take out this turret. A lot of damage on him. But while all that's happening, they're just going to cap the point. No one's touching. And that just cannot happen if you're Cincinnati.
That wasn't good. That wasn't good. I didn't like high on point A. Everyone was so tight together, right? It was so weird. It was so easy for Unique on the far to get value. I actually just remember Unique does have a really insane Pharah. I mean, I think they play a little bit too much for my liking. I'm not a big fan of Pharah as a hero. I did like the fact that this time they saw that they're on rush. I need to get off of Pharah. That's good. That's a good adaptation for, I think, week one when I think it was a series I casted where Unique played a little bit too much Pharah for my liking. But Cincinnati, their point A defense and their second team fight really don't make too much sense to me. You have a Diva, you have a Hunter, you have a Torbjorn and a Torb turret. Surely that's 4 different places on the map that you can play. Your Diva can always fly over to your supports and matrix them, for example. Your Baptiste could have played a different position. It was way too easy for William and Mary to get into different positions and collapse onto Cincinnati.
And you could tell Cincinnati probably didn't expect them to scout them out like they did, right? We saw the immediate, like you said, the immediate swaps came through. Someone somewhere saw something, and they turned right around, and they got on that Pharah Mercy Ana combo, and we see Alandre on Ana as well. Alandre's been doing really well. I'm pretty sure they were BAP in that last round with Nuklama. Yeah, and the windows. I mean, that can't be understated. The pressure that was on second and third point to wrap those corners are so hard to get through. And, if you could just drop an Ant Matrix right in front of people, man, oh man, do you have a benefit there. But we are going to see a little bit of a change here. Ozzy on the Doom, and here's Genji. Oh, God. I didn't think we were going to get Genji, but now that we do, I'm super happy with it. But it is going to have to be a full commit here if you are going to do it. And we do see Kuro finding a bit of pressure on the Torb turret. But that's the first engagement, and they're going to back off. I'm not sure how they get in here.
I think they got to get off of the Doomfist or the Genji. I prefer the Genji personally because that's a win condition. But both of the players are just going to get zoned out by Rage Knight on the Torb. They just have to set up a turret, and both those DPS are out of the fight.
Yeah, and we see William and Mary just sticking together. No one's getting lost. Everyone understands their role, just protecting each other. Genji comes in, Monkey comes in, Doom comes in. Doom is so scary, and he got a punch off there. Didn't quite find any value the big value that he was looking for, but eventually that value will come through, and Doom can be very scary. But we are seeing ourselves approaching the old Nano Blade, and as you pointed out, that is one of the win conditions.
I mean, there's 2 ways to play around Nano Blade. You can either just more aggressively onto their back line, and Cincinnati might not be prepared for that, or you could just back up. There's 2 different extreme ways to deal with it. I prefer the more aggressive approaches going onto the back line, like Max has, and now Nano Blade's offline. Nano's gone.
Yeah, that's it. Nano's going to be done, and this is where it gets scary if you were dealing with a Mega Monkey on the stairs. But they all do the wise thing and get inside, get indoors when there's a monkey on the field. And it does find the value that you were talking about, though. Leap going down like that, it's very impactful, but it does give time for Kuro to find that blade. And Doom's still sitting on 50%. There was that punch, but it didn't quite get what he wanted done because he punched a tank. And we're going to see Cincinnati full commit right now. They are going with the beat. And where's that blade going to come from? They know Anna's out in main. They're going to find her. She is spotted out. That's going to put too much pressure down as Unique's Bob finds the main tank for Cincinnati. And that's going to spell doom and gloom, I think, unless they can get Max here in this tiny room. But it's just a Lucio and an Anna and that bubble. Too much disruption.
That was really bad from Cincinnati. I'm gonna be blunt about it. They should have just jumped off the map as soon as their owner was gone. They needed to get out of that team fight. Reason 1, The plan should be our win condition is Nano Blade. We want to pull that off. And if they stay in that room or at least try to engage there, they're on it stuck in main the entire time. You saw, was it Leapfrog just on their own?
Yep.
In main, easy kill for William Mary. And now, how is they even going to find Kurohi for the Nano Blade? I know Kurohi's sitting in the backline somewhere.
And constantly disrupting these engages, Unique using that coach gun so expertly. As you know, Lake's gonna come out trying to use the that monkey to get in their face. Not gonna find very much as Lake is gonna drop dangerously low, even through the ultimate. And here's the blade, gonna be looking for anything, but no, they were ready with the defenses. As Molten Core is gonna slow that down, especially with D.Va sitting there with the Ant Matrix right on top. And William and Mary do a great job of negating all of the engage coming out from Cincinnati. And now we are looking towards 1-2 fights if you're quick.
That was, again, not great. We've been playing for that win condition all game. We even used the sound barrier on the team fight that we knew Cincinnati would have had a 5v6 because their Honor couldn't get back into the team fight because they were picked up by the nano boosted Winston. And this is William Mary's map, really. They should get this full hold. They've got 2 tank ultimates, they've got a bulb to stall out if they need to play for time. Unless Shrimpman could do something massive for Cincinnati, this is going to be 2-0 William Mary.
Yeah. Bomb is going to come out, and it looks like it does find Unique, but the res could come through. They are going to have to deny that, as Ozzy's just going to take out the turret. Ratchet Knight going to be able to pick up Ozzy off of the back of his ultimate. Now Max going to be using the Primal, getting in on the team. Max is a tear, getting the double kill on the supports, and the cleanup coming with Rival. And this Monkey Duel, yes, they get 2 ticks, but the fight is pretty much lost here, as the 2 ults were not enough, and it's last but not least the purple Genji. And we're going to see a couple more touches, but Bob is still on the point, so no protection. And that's going to be William and Mary wrapping up map 2.
Good performance from William Mary. Big fan of that. I thought they were good. I thought their timing on their dive engages was good. I like the fact when they knew Cincinnati had that Nano Blade online. We're just going to nano our Winston. We're going to kill their Honor. They're not going to be able to do anything. It was a nice, proactive, aggressive response. And this engagement here that we're actually watching was awesome as well. Unique. Right on the side, we have a player rolling through as well. At the exact same time, we had another DPS player picking up the exact same angle, and then they proactively swapped once they saw the rush comp. Cincinnati have a lot of issues to work on after that map.
Yeah, Cincinnati, they're going to have to find a way to, get back into this. And we are just going to be going straight into map 3. So they are going to have a little bit of time here to discuss what they want to do. Cincinnati, on the back foot now. Yeah, and this is the time where you got to dig your heel in and push back, right? You could say that Unique, that timing, that off angle, unexpected. All right, maybe that was just unlucky. But for the rest of the map, they played it, like you said, pretty much as poorly. They took the fights in as poorly a position as you could. I think they're rushing. I think they're trying to stabilize before they're ready to stabilize. What do you think?
I think they're making the wrong decisions. Genuinely, I think as blunt as I can be, it was a problem in a couple of series I've watched them so far this season. They're just making really bad decisions. If Nano Blade Ring can't go for you, why are you giving them even time to have a Nano Boost who went and jump on your backline? Or if you know you need to keep your Honor alive, why is your Honor dying in that situation? And if you know Nano Blade Ring, why are we hiding in the backline away from our Honor to make it more awkward to nano us? That sort of thing. Why in a Winston versus Reinhardt matchup are we taking a fight where it's a close space and it's almost impossible for our Winston to get more value than their Reinhardt? It's just really poor decision making over the course of Nimbani.
Yeah, and those kind of decisions are what leads to being down 0-2, right? And that's, I think, what we're looking for now. Let's go forward, right? We're going to Hanamura, and so in Hanamura, it's a lot more of those tightly contested chokes. You've got first point, getting through the gate. Then you have the point. Then you have on second point, you got the stairs as well. You could take it main. If you with the Symmetra strat, you can go on the left side. But eventually it becomes basically a brawl. How does Cincinnati, especially, get through these chokes if they're going to be running this Winston rush again? Or should they even be on it? That's really the question. Should they even be on it?
I like it. I think it's a really good composition. It's my favorite composition in the game, other than the Bowl, D.Va, Briggs, and Tracer and then Ash Soldier, whatever you want to play with. I prefer Tracer Sombra.
Right.
In that sort of bulk. I just really like Sombra comps in general. I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't like Sombra, but I love Sombra comps.
Hmm.
But yeah, they're just gonna go standard brawl on the defense with a little bit more spam. So go Archimedes is gonna play the Hanzo subbing in here for this map. I think if you're gonna play Hanzo, why not play Sigma as well?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense to me because Diva and Cassidy you usually see together in different alterations of standard brawl compositions because a Diva can take a Cassidy on an off angle and put a lot of pressure onto a Reinhardt, for example, right? Whereas
Hmm.
Hunter can do that on their own. They don't need anyone to do that. So why not play a hero like Sigma who can also spam from longer distances like Hanzo as well, and you get more spam value. When you got a Hanzo and a Diva here, you get a little bit more brawl value and the ability to players on off angles and Diva and a little bit more spam value, but don't actually commit to either one. I feel like that's a pretty poor decision.
Yeah, and with Salty Nacho and Archimedes stepping in for Ozzy and Lake, we get to see a little bit of a different. Maybe these are with the Reinhardt, it's more of like a comfort, right? And then obviously Archimedes coming in on the projectile, trying to get some value here. But I like the wall there, gonna slow things down for William and Mary, and they again scouted it out. I don't know if anyone saw, but they ran out on the Lucio to check it out as Kuro's gonna find the first pick on Alondre, and that is the first time I think Alondre has gone down before the fight even started. But this is a lot of pressure coming out for William and Mary, Unique on the backside, and Bap is in a lot of danger. Gonna have to throw down the MO as Leapfrog really trying to keep the team up, but Lightning is the first one to go down now as the res did come through. So William and Mary at full strength. And now Cincinnati, is down 3. Gonna be looking to try to hold this for as long as possible, but right now it's a delay game, and that is gonna be it with just Diva on the point. William and Mary making it look pretty easy, especially with the swaps coming through.
Pretty good swaps. I like the way that William Mary, they scout out and then they adapt. And you know what? A lot of teams also that they will scout out and they will adapt, and it's just a really bad adaptation that makes zero sense. This makes sense, plays into their strengths, and I like it. William Mary, I probably would have had a laundry on the Honor instead, because I prefer laundry when on Zenyatta when Nucleum is on Brig, just because they're able to get a little bit more value. Just standard because they're able to communicate with Nucleum so well to get into better positions. But Zenyatta's going to be really impactful here. They can get a nice Discord Orb, and they can get Nuke Llama and Unique safe here to set up a barrage. That could be a pretty nice play, but Lightning and Tripman do well to get rid of Nuke Llama. Oh, wow.
I was just about to say Lightning had blood in his eyes, finds Nuke Llama, but Unique striking right back, finding 4, and that is the core of the team. Both DPS and the BAP gonna go down, so now it's on Lightning and Shrimpman to try to hold this point down, and they're doing a great job, but there's only so much a Baby Diva and a Lucio can do, as they still haven't even got the first tick, William and Mary. The stall is on full force, with the Amp Matrix gonna go down, Leapfrog trying to keep the team up, and here we go. It's the Visor. It already found 1, and it finds 2 more there at the back end of this fight. The time is ticking up. Diva Bomb gonna come out. 0 protection for most of the team as Rival is alone on the point with Flux ready to go. So no matter how these stalls come out, if we get a decent Flux, it will be over. Not even gonna be needed as William and Mary find the stagger kills they need.
Good play for William Mary. I had the question. Cincinnati, once they got that Mercy pick, that was really important. That made it so Unique shouldn't have been able to get that barrage off. Realistically, that's why they were fighting so hard to keep Nuke Llama alive. Is because Unique probably knew, oh god, if Nuke Llama goes down, I'm a bit screwed here, aren't I? But now they just go for the barrage. And Cincinnati, for some reason, even though they knew the pharmacy was in their backline, weren't prepared for it. That's a concern. That's something they need to be better at. They need to make decisions around that. They even sent 2 players to the backline to kill the Mercy so the far wasn't a threat. So how is the rest of the team not aware of this barrage incoming?
And you got to think that, I was going to say maybe they just didn't expect the barrage to be online already, but with how poorly the first fight went, you got to think that that barrage is close, if not already online. But to William and Mary's credit, I think they were going to swap, but because how much all charge Farrah got, I think they were going to use that first barrage just to see what they could get. And my lord, did they find a treasure trove of kills there, which I can honestly say I don't think Unique expected to get. I mean,
Unique was just throwing that in. It was going to swap after, 100%.
That's exactly it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, there's no way he's thinking he's getting 4 or 5 here. But yeah, you're right. Cincinnati just turned their back to it, and man, you can't be doing that, especially with the pharmacy. Yes, they did get the Mercy. Maybe that's why, right? Maybe that's why the Mercy's down. The Far is not going to go for anything crazy. That was a good play by Unique, but now we see Unique on to the Cassidy. Not going to be playing the Pharmacy on defense. I love that. Archimedes on the Mei, not doing the Hanzo. And the classic Torb out again. Great for Hanamura defense in the crossover. And Maxwell and Nuklama going to be finding the first 2 kills. And William and Mary off to a hot start here. His rival drops and gets demeched. But the fight is still taking place on point, and the kills are still going for William and Mary. So a good first point defense.
That was good. That was good. What I really like about the kind of the sim war here on Hanamura point A defense is if you know your opponents can play Symmetra, you have 2 options. You either kite back to point and try and take control of that area before your opponents can. The problem is then they can just teleport to high ground and then you just use that teleport, teleport anywhere else they want and take map control. But you could also just aggressively engage before they use the teleporter, and that's exactly what William and Mary opted to do.
Yeah, and now we see them trying to set it up again, but Max is going to find Salty Nacho yet again. The MO is not there in time. This is going to be tough, especially swapping off the sim now. Now you're just taking a straight-up fight, and for right now, I mean, this heavily favors the defense. Maybe they're just going to save up some ults here as some more picks come through, but what does Cincinnati need to do to break through this choke with the comp they have?
And what they gotta do is scout where their opposing players are. They have a Sonic arrow to do that now, with Archimedes going over the Hanzo as well. They gotta scout where their opponents are playing, right? You see that Max is playing really tight to this wall to eliminate some of the spam damage you are at risk of taking if you just hold the choke normally. Really like that. And they have also got Earth Shatter online, so watch out for that next team fight.
Yeah, and Amp, the windows are right in front of each other. I should say garage doors with how massive they are. And it's William and Mary finding the value out of it as both teams pressured each other. And we didn't even see the shatter on the screen, but you know it caught 2. And that was enough. But now Salty Nacho has a chance to respond in this next team fight.
I mean, how are they going to respond? I mean, it's going to have to be like the longest and best matrix I have ever seen in my life to get Salty Nacho for this choke, because there's going to be a molten core. I mean, William and Mary might just engage aggressively with Sound Barrier as well. This is going to be difficult for Salty Nacho.
And Salty Nacho does go down, just like you said. It's tough to push in, especially when they're ready for them, and especially when they have all these ultimates online. Not even needed, though. It was just the left clicks and the pressure that took care of Salty Nacho, and the shatter was used. I think it was either blocked or he died before he could get it off, and that's going to be a huge resource down, as they are going to be solely relying on barrier to keep this high noon up. And bomb is going to come through, and maybe we can see some picks come through, as molten core is going to be used early and often through this choke here and splitting off the teams. And it's going to be William and Mary's MO coming down first to keep the team up and keep the pressure on. And the pressure is on as we are getting towards the last 2 fights of this game.
Nice shot, nice shot. William and Mary, they're gonna be aggressive. They're gonna be proactive. What I didn't like about that fight with Salty Nacho when they were setting up the Earth Shatter, they just kind of went for a choke. Why not go to the right? Why not go to the right and then kind of set up that Earth Shatter later on, right? You don't have to go instantly for it. What's interesting now for this team fight is Max again as theirs. Unique's gonna look to be flashbang Earth Shatter as soon as they come for a choke.
Yeah, and they're calling for it right now, and here it comes. Big flashbang. Oh, it was blocked.
Oh, it was blocked.
It was eaten. And here comes the turn from Cincinnati. They might have read that. Oh, my goodness. And they get the D-back as well as Archimedes is popping off. That's the 4th one in this fight. Now we got a bomb coming through, and I tell you what, now is the time to use a couple of ults just to secure it, and that's going to be Nuklama running for the hills. And what a turnaround from Cincinnati.
I think that they saw Unique on the off angle. They knew what was happening. Good eat from Shrimp Man. Really good to get them through the choke. That's much better. It was much better coordinated team fight. Okay, we eat the flashbang, we get our team through choke. Archimedes will have a little bit of space in an off angle as well. Brilliant. That's how Cincinnati need to do. That's what they need to do more often. We want to see that sort of play from them.
Yeah, and to your credit, and this is why I consider you one of the best, analysts in the game. You called that. They scouted that out as Skiro finds the first Deadeye kill. Ratchet Knight not able to find cover, as Unique's going to try to get this high noon off, but it's going to be blocked up by the barriers, both coming out from both sides. And now we just have to find out who's going to take advantage of this high ground, as it is all William and Mary, as the shots are just raining down. Mo is going to be used to keep the tanks alive. Salty Nacho followed by Kuro and Leapfrog all going down in sequential order. But to my original point, you were right about scouting first, and that fight right there didn't seem a lot of scouting, it seemed a lot of rushing.
I like the fact that they did do that for Unique on that last shatter. That's an improvement, and that's what we're looking for Cincinnati for the rest of the season and then next season, because I think just based on what I've seen, Cincinnati will be good next season, at least mid-table, maybe even high mid-table. That's what I expect from them in the next EGF season when we eventually do get that. But today, they are not really expected to get much against William and Mary. But if they can make those subtle improvements, I'll be happy with them.
Yeah, a lot of young players, yeah, a lot of proven to do, but Archimedes is going to start it off, and this is where that dragon can be very deadly. Does find one and pressures out the rest of the team, as it is Cincinnati right now taking the advantage. Rival going to try to turn this around with the bomb. Not going to find anything. Might have been a little bit too high to find any value that they were looking for. But Nuke Llama is able to find Archimedes, so that's pretty big. Stripman trying desperately get this mech back, but it's the teammates that are picking him up. And we see the Bastion come through. That's going to put a little bit of a wrench in the gears, trying to find a way to finish off the cap at this point. And the Unique going to find this off angle. And that's it. Too much damage, too much spray coming down. But that's almost 2 ticks.
That was though from Cincinnati, right? Because they had a plan, that team fight, and a good one at that. They dragoned the stairs. They used that dragon strike, and that split William and Mary off. They actually walked in on that dragon strike as well, got some kills, forced their opponents back, and took some positioning around the point. That was a good plan from the University of Cincinnati, and more of that. They could be a top tier team next season. That was a really nice shot from Unique.
And Unique playing those off angles beautifully. And you could tell they did not expect that. You got the Hanzo swap coming through, and right away it's having impact, as Unique has already caught up in ult percentage to Archimedes off the back of that last fight. And the spray and the poke damage from Hanzo is going to be very dangerous, as they're going to try to find a way to get Kuro up to the team so they can push through this first little choke point on the stairs. And here they go. Good eat on the fire strike. Going to be limiting Maxwell's ult charge. And the bomb's going to go through right away. Going to be trying to put it right in the corner. Does get the D-Mech. So that's a good start to the fight.
Dead rifle.
And that's unfortunately, as Ratchet Knight finds the kill on Archimedes, that's going to be a big ultimate down and a lot of consistent damage. Beats coming through. Nuke Llama keeping the team pretty frisky, pretty fresh. And the counter beat's going to come through, but it might be a little bit too late, as there's only 3 members left. And Lightning is burning down quite quickly, as Unique already has that dragon online, and that was the overtime fight that wins it all for William and Mary.
Yep, William and Mary. The result of this series, not too awkward for them, which was good. I mean, it could have been awkward for them after that first point to Busan, right? They made a couple of mistakes there. Not any major ones. So I think just playing a Tracer instead of a Widowmaker, and they would have been all good. But I thought they were good all series. William and Mary consistent. Exactly what you expect from a top of the table team. I think we got exactly what we wanted from this matchup. We saw some good adaptations from Cincinnati, and they got better as Hanamura went on, and they made it awkward for Point to Busan. They've got potential, Cincinnati. They just gotta work on their game plans, work on their team fight plans in particular, and also work on understanding different matchups between different main tanks, for example, and just different composition matchups in general.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying here, because it's more about Cincinnati finding consistency, right? We saw them pop off in a few fights, especially on this Hanamura map. They had better team fights than they did all series. Maybe their young players are stepping up, starting to warm up, right? And it was again on first map Busan, where they had a lot of good engages, a lot of good fights, and it was that middle section, right? Post first point Busan into Numbani, into their Hanamura defense, where it was struggle bus. But I like it. I like what Cincinnati did here today. I think a couple fights they did make it awkward, to what you were saying about making it awkward for William and Mary. But yeah, that is going to be William and Mary taking this as we expected. But don't go anywhere, folks, because we are going to take it for a quick break. But on our way back, on the other side, we are going to have Rochester Institute of Technology versus Connecticut. And you don't want to miss that epic battle that's coming your way. And welcome back in, folks. We do have an interview from the winning team, William and Mary. It is Max for the Win 26, coming to you live from wherever they play. Max, I do have a few questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm still ready.
So stoked. Okay, here, let me get into the first one, right? You're on a 9-game win streak, right? Tell me about the atmosphere. How did you guys start it off, right? You started off the first 2 weeks a little shaky, but then from then on, it's been 9 games in a row of rock solid play. How the turnaround happened and what's been going on since.
Yeah, so I mean 9 game win streak. I think it's the second longest in EGF right now. The only team that has a longer win streak is Colorado because they haven't lost. But the first 2 weeks were kind of rough. We were getting our team together, especially against UConn. That was kind of a tough, like 2-3 loss, in map 6. So that was a little hard. And then Colorado is just a great team. But after that, we got together. We were like, all right, we can do this. Let's bring it back. We got our team structure together. I think a lot of our players got really good. And we really started, grinding, and we just kept winning games. And for us, it's just we're looking at the next game. And it was like, all right, we won a game, let's go to the next one. We're gonna win that one. We're gonna win that one. And before you know it, now we're nine game win streak. 9-2 on the season, and it's been looking great for us so far.
I mean, yeah, you guys have looked fantastic through 9 weeks, but let's get into a little bit of expectations now, right? You're on this win streak. It's the second longest in the EGF. Well, everybody knows that with fans comes expectations of a win every week. But realistically, looking at your team inside of your own, unit, what are your guys' expectations this year? What are you guys feeling?
Our team is feeling to go all the way, or at least as far as possible. I know for me personally, my goal is I want to win the East Conference. I think we can, especially after we show that we can beat St. John's at full strength
Mhm.
this week. That was really good for us. That was a great. That 3-2 win was really good. I mean, we showed that we could take down one of the top teams in the league. So our team really thinks we can go. I mean, a flawless split would be great. We still have some tough opponents coming up. I know next week we're two because that's our last conference game,
Mhm.
and we're going to try to cinch the first seed away from Delaware. So that's what we're looking forward to. But I think we can go all the way. I think we can do really well. I think we can win the conference. We'll see what happens at nationals, but I think you guys should be
Yeah.
keeping an eye on William and Mary for sure.
Absolutely, Ocean. We are going to be keeping an eye on a confident Max and William and Mary.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask about your personal performance in these past couple of games. I watched you last week. When I was on break, when we were on break during the podcast, we had St. John's in the background. But you played really well last week. And this week again was really, really solid. Where do you view yourself alongside the other EGF main tanks?
I can't be a main tank and say that I'm not the best. There
I
are a
like
lot
it.
of
I like it.
there's a lot of really good main tanks in the league. But I think we come to game day, 9 game win streak. It's just the better main tank team tends to always win. So I just think I've been playing really well and continue to get better. I got a long way to go. And there are a lot of good main tanks in the league, like I said, but I definitely think I'm near the top. And I'm never gonna say I'm not. But the individual players, casters, you guys can determine. I think I've shown I can do a pretty good job.
Yeah. And talk to me about your team's flexibility, right? You played a lot of different heroes today. The rest of your team did as well. Do you think that's really one of the keys to your success?
Yeah, I mean, we went into this year, and because I don't know how familiar you guys were with EGFC last year, but we were kind of a one trick at the end of the season. And when we started getting some wins, we kind of one trick just to let Unique kind of pop off. So we put everything into him. We didn't want to do that again because a lot of teams that were one tricks tended to not do so well later into the season. So we wanted to be flexible, and that was really what we were trying to do this year. And I think we've done a great job. We can play pretty much every comp. I think we've shown at a high level, and I think everyone's just good at a lot of heroes and just good at the game in general.
Good
Yeah,
answers. I like it.
I love the confidence. I love what William and Mary's doing over there, and I love what you and your or you and your team are doing over there. Anybody you want to shout out here?
Yeah, so in all my interviews now, I like to give two shout outs, one to a teammate and one to someone else. So my first shout out is going to be to the DPS player from Wichita State, Fluffy but Deadly. Love that guy. Huge fan. And I just wanted to say a special shout out in our Clash of Clans war. He got 6 stars. Great job. Huge shout out to that guy. I love that guy. And for my team, I mean, you guys look at William and Mary, you're like, all right, they got two pretty good players, two carries, if you will. Me and Nuke. I got to give Nuke on the shout out for main sport. Doing a fantastic job, really helping me out, setting me up for success, setting the team up for success. So I got to give that to my roommate, to my teammate, to my favorite player. I love this guy.
Well, thank you, Max. I appreciate you being here. Me and Ocean love interviewing, really, really good teams, and you guys are one of the best. So keep it going.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And as you heard it here first from Max himself, we do have more games coming up today. As foreshadowed, UConn is going to be versing Rochester Institute of Technology when we come back on the flip side of the break. Ocean, I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be awesome, and we'll see you all in just a little bit.
I did not think there was a shot they could bring this back. Attack visor goes out, gets one, gets two, focuses. Somehow gets the Lucio in the mess of all those bodies, and you can tell at the end of that, his sensitivity just, mouse is going around, but he's like, oh my god, it's happening, we did it.
Yeah.
And what a comeback on Quinnipiac to actually force that, just the map to end right there, and you clean this series. It is a 3-0 sweep. They're now 6-4. That is a great place to be at this point in the season, because you had that bye week in play. So 11 weeks in, 6-4. You're sitting upper half of the standings. You were 14th going into today. So you're 12th, sorry. 12th going into today. Siena was 14th. They're going to be dropping down a little bit after today. But you're maybe reaching top 10, which is a huge thing for this school, because that builds the confidence. Now you're solidified number 2 in the MAC, and you can really look to start bringing up to those higher teams that are just above you.
I think we're maybe a little before halfway, or maybe just halfway into the second split, and that's really the time to see ambition emerging from all of our contenders. Well played to Quinnipiac, really stepping up and showing us that they're more than competitive.